Omar Marmoush has arrived in the Premier League after scoring a hat-trick for Man City against Newcastle in just 33 minutes. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at how he did it. Manchester City have severely lacked an element of dynamism and a pace through the side for what feels like the entirety of this season, but in this game, and especially through Omar Marmoush, they really did find it. They utilised Eddie Howe's defensive real game plan against himself because of the way that Marmoush was willing to run off of the ball and the way that Man City were able to set up themselves to best facilitate that opportunity. Let me explain. When Eddie Howe's Newcastle played against Arsenal, they operated with something of a man-mark system, utilising the likes of Fabian Schär to move onto the striker or even to push forward onto the midfielder to best try and exploit the progression of play from Arsenal. He tried to opt for something very similar here in pushing Schär onto Foden, Burn onto Haaland, and you can explain the rest. You can see the rest here. You can see the likes of Gordon pressing onto Kusanov, you can see Isak and Stones. All of this was set up to try and win the ball high against Manchester City, utilising this high Newcastle line to try and push up and condense the play and force turnovers closer to Man City's goal, utilising Newcastle's energy and tempo going forwards. The problem they had was both Ederson and the off-the-ball running capabilities of Marmoush. They also had a problem with Phil Foden and Erling Haaland because they dropped deeper to facilitate the out-to-win runs from Marmoush and Savinho. This is something that Barcelona in particular have done to pretty devastating extent, utilising the runs of Rafinha, utilising the runs of Lamine Yamal, and dropping Lewandowski that little bit deeper to give space in beyond the back of the opposition. And this really worked for Man City, but it particularly worked for Omar Marmoush, and it wasn't too long before he was starting to see some major opportunities. And this is exactly how Omar Marmoush's first goal comes about. Now, it really helps that you have a goalkeeper that has a wand of a left foot that is able to put a football on a sixpence from about 300 yards away, but hey, that's just Ederson. But note the Newcastle defensive approach, the man-marking system that they've got all over the pitch, and this really does pertain to a lot of different areas. For example, you've got Fabian Schär pressurising Phil Foden. Note how deep Phil Foden's going, and the same can be said for Erling Haaland, dropping again, bringing Burn with him, and it's those out-to-win runs that Marmoush is going to utilise to best exploit this. So as this goes on, you look how deep Foden's going, first of all, look at that, and look at Schär following him. Now this is exactly what he did against Arsenal, and Arsenal really didn't have an answer for it. City do though. City played the ball really long, and that seriously helped with the breaking of those lines. Now, Marmoush has made a brilliant run from out to in, and Kieran Trippier, because of this man-marking system, has followed him. Trippier fails to understand the flight of the ball, and he misses it, and that gives Marmoush a whole heap of space to work with. It's brilliantly done. It's a bit fortuitous, of course. But in this, you're then asking, can Marmoush finish? And boy, can he finish. It's an absolutely sensational shot. It's a sensational chip, and it gives him his first goal. Two things that really contributed to and helped facilitate Marmoush's masterful display was the inclusion of Nico Gonzalez and the role of Gvardiol. Let's start with Nico. His real metronomic display allowed for City to dictate the tempo, and that is absolutely key because City can't really deal with the intensity of an opposition side right now. They just simply don't have the energy, and that means that when you dictate the tempo, you're allowing for them to move their chess pieces at a rate that suits them. And one of the chess pieces, and one of the major chess pieces, was Gvardiol. His rollout on this left-hand side allowed for Marmoush to drift in field. Now this knock-on effect gave City the option to have their box formation, and it's through this that they were able to dictate a number of different patterns of play, a number of different moments, and it also put Omar Marmoush within the centre of the pitch, closer to goal. Marmoush isn't necessarily a winger, although he can play there, he's really fast, but he's a really good striker. He strikes the ball very well, he finishes very well. Remember, before he left Frankfurt, he already had 15 goals in the league. He knows how to score a goal, so getting him closer to goal and more central is crucial, and that's exactly what City did for his second goal. And this is how it played out. So although City are capitalising on space, you've still got a number of things that I mentioned previously. You've got Guardiola out on this left-hand side. You've got Marmoush drifting in field because of Guardiola's positioning. You've got Gundogan, you've got Nico, and you've got Phil Foden. And that is your box right there. And that is how they dictated, that is how they moved about, and that's how they created the patterns of play that unfolded for City's goals. As this moves forward, you've got Marmoush drifting in field, isolating this channel between Trippier and Murphy. But remember, Murphy's got to be concerned about Guardiola because he is a danger as well. And it's this real danger and threat that gives Marmoush the option to drift in field. Now, this is extremely dangerous, and it's also really impressive from Marmoush because Gundogan fires this into him, and he shouldn't have any space or time to be able to take this. But the quickness of play and the fleeting of foot that Marmoush has gives him the opportunity to really drive in field. The moment he drives in field, he almost takes this in a moment where Newcastle can't really react. He's already taken it past Trippier before he can even turn, and then it's about whether he can unleash a shot. He fires towards the bottom left-hand corner, but again, it's all facilitated by his movement in field because of Guardiola's positioning and the metronomic display that Nico Gonzalez performed. If you have seen anything of Manchester City in the last 10 years, then this will give you deja vu. It particularly gives me deja vu in remembering the likes of Leroy Sané and Riyad Mahrez. I mean, Savinho even moves like Riyad Mahrez, and he's got the same number, which is really quite interesting. But if you're a City fan, this will get you grinning like a Cheshire cat, because this was devastating. The movement, the ability for Marmoush to move in field, the space that's been afforded to him due to the movement of these Manchester City players. You've got Phil Foden partnering Marmoush, who's currently off your screen. You've got Savinho being able to drive down the side like Mahrez did, like Leroy Sané did, and you've got your striker ready to enter the box. It's all pretty devastating, and it really lends itself to a pretty impressive attack. You've got Marmoush here, and he's going to be driving into this space. Look, it's so afforded to him. It's being given to him and gifted. But again, you've got these two almost partnering with each other. One drops, one goes forwards, and this is the dynamic of play that City are trying to build, that box formation that I mentioned previously, facilitated by that run from Guardiola on that left-hand side. But it's all about this guy to begin with. It's all about this guy. It's all about Savinho. He's almost encouraged to run down this side, and that's exactly what he did. And then you have the cutback. You've got the cutback coming back to Manchester City. It drives into this area, and look how much space Marmoush has to really make something of this moment. He drifts into here, but you've also got Foden if you ever need to take a shot. It's so well done, it's devastating, and it is reminiscent of about 50 Man City goals that they have scored in previous times. Again, like I said, if you're a City fan, this will have you absolutely buzzing. Marmoush finishes pretty brilliantly, and he seals his hat-trick. A sensational display from him, scoring 3 goals in 33 minutes. Not bad at all. But of course, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new, and I hope to see you in the next one. But until then, my friends, take care.